The Galactic Assembly had seen everything. They had witnessed stars being born and die. They had watched empires rise across entire sectors before collapsing into history. Species had evolved, conquered, and vanished long before humanity ever learned how to leave Earth. To the Assembly, humans were young. Very young. Primitive, emotional, unpredictable. Interesting, perhaps, but hardly important. That opinion changed on the day the signal arrived. The transmission appeared simultaneously in every major communication network across the galaxy. It bypassed encryption, ignored firewalls, crossed quantum relays without delay. And it carried only 3 words. We found them. Panic spread instantly. The message originated beyond the Perseus Void, a region of space so dangerous that no expedition had ever returned. For over 3,000 years, countless civilizations had attempted to explore the void. None succeeded. Ships disappeared. Artificial intelligences went silent. Even autonomous probes simply vanished. The region became known as the Silent Grave. No one went there anymore. No one except humans. 3 years earlier, humanity had launched a deep space exploration vessel called Odyssey. The mission had been ridiculed. Most species considered it suicide. The Assembly expected the ship to disappear like every other expedition before it. Instead, the impossible had happened. Someone had sent a message back. And now every government in the galaxy demanded answers. Inside the Assembly chamber, representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered. The atmosphere was tense. Supreme Coordinator Vareth stood before the council. The signal has been authenticated, he announced. It originated from the human vessel Odyssey. Murmurs filled the chamber. An insectoid ambassador clicked his mandibles nervously. Impossible. An avian delegate spread her wings. Nothing survives the void. A machine representative processed billions of calculations before speaking. Probability of human survival, 0.00003%. Vareth nodded. And yet they survived. Silence followed. Then another alert appeared. A second transmission. This one contained coordinates. Coordinates deep inside the Perseus Void. Alongside them was a short message. Do not come here. They are waking up. The chamber erupted. Delegates shouted over one another. Military leaders demanded immediate action. Scientists demanded more data. Religious leaders called it a warning from ancient gods. Nobody knew what they meant. And that uncertainty terrified everyone. Far away, on Earth, the Human Exploration Agency received the same message. Director Elena Torres stared at the screen in disbelief. Odyssey had been missing for 3 years. The crew consisted of only 12 people. 12 explorers against one of the galaxy's greatest mysteries. Now they were alive. At least some of them. A technician approached her station. Director, we're receiving another transmission. Elena looked up. Audio? The technician nodded. It's damaged. Play it. Static filled the room. Fragments of voices emerged through the interference. Screams. Alarms. Explosions. Then a familiar voice. Captain James Carter. If anyone receives this. More static. Not alone. The signal distorted. Older than stars. A loud metallic sound echoed. Someone shouted in the background. Then Carter spoke again. His voice trembled. Tell Earth, we were wrong. The recording ended. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Because they had heard something else. A sound beneath the static. A deep rhythm. Slow. Powerful. Like a heartbeat. 24 hours later, the entire galaxy received a live transmission. A video feed. The first direct contact from Odyssey. The image flickered before stabilizing. Captain Carter appeared on screen. But something was wrong. He looked exhausted. Older. Terrified. Behind him, emergency lights flashed red. The bridge of the ship was heavily damaged. Several stations burned in the background. Captain Carter, Verith said through the communication link. Report your situation immediately. Carter remained silent for several seconds. Then he looked directly into the camera. At the billions watching. And spoke words that would change galactic history forever. We found the builders. The galaxy froze. Every civilization knew the legend. The builders. The mysterious race responsible for ancient megastructures scattered throughout space. The creators of technologies nobody understood. The species that supposedly vanished millions of years ago. Most scholars believed they never existed. Now a human captain claimed otherwise. Verith struggled to maintain composure. Captain. Where are they? Carter's expression darkened. You don't understand. The bridge shook violently. Alarms blared. Crew members rushed behind him. Something massive struck the ship. The camera trembled. For a moment, the view shifted toward a nearby window. And everyone watching saw it. A gigantic structure emerging from darkness. Not a ship. Not a station. A machine. Its surface stretched farther than planets. Covered in glowing symbols. Slowly moving. Awakening. The feed returned to Carter. His face had gone pale. We thought it was abandoned. Another impact rattled the vessel. We were wrong. The heartbeat sound returned. Louder now. Stronger. Boom. 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 Every pulse echoed through the transmission. Carter swallowed nervously. Then he said the words that would haunt the galaxy. They know humanity exists. The screen suddenly filled with static. For one terrifying second, another face appeared. Not human. Not alien. Something ancient. Something impossible. Then the transmission cut off completely. Across the galaxy, billions stared at silent screens. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. Because for the first time in recorded history, humanity had discovered something that terrified even itself. The transmission ended. Across thousands of worlds, billions sat in stunned silence. The image of the colossal machine and the unknown face lingered in everyone's mind. For centuries, the galaxy had feared the Perseus Void. Now they knew why. Something was there. Something ancient. And somehow humanity had awakened it. On Earth, Director Elena Torres immediately ordered every available observatory to focus on the coordinates transmitted by Odyssey. Within hours, long-range telescopes began collecting data. The results made no sense. The Perseus Void was supposed to be empty. Instead, scientists discovered massive energy fluctuations. Entire star systems hidden behind layers of artificial distortions. Structures larger than anything previously recorded. And at the center of it all, a single object. A machine so large that its dimensions exceeded theoretical engineering limits. One scientist stared at the calculations. This can't be real. Another slowly shook his head. It is. The object was larger than some solar systems. Meanwhile, aboard Odyssey, chaos ruled. Emergency lights illuminated the damaged corridors. Captain James Carter struggled to maintain control. Half the ship's systems were offline. Several crew members were injured. And outside, the impossible machine continued to awaken. Lieutenant Sarah Kim approached him. We've lost contact with Earth again. Carter nodded. What about propulsion? Still functioning. Can we leave? Sarah hesitated. Then delivered the answer everyone feared. No. The room fell silent. The machine had somehow disabled their jump drive. They were trapped. Hours later, another discovery changed everything. Dr. Malik Hassan, Odyssey's chief scientist, entered the bridge carrying a data tablet. His face was pale. You need to see this. Carter reviewed the information. His eyes widened. Are you certain? Malik nodded. We've checked it 12 times. The symbols covering the giant machine had finally been translated. Not completely. But enough. The language was older than any known civilization. Older than galactic records. Older than history itself. Yet somehow, human algorithms recognized certain patterns. One phrase appeared repeatedly. Over and over. Across millions of kilometers of metallic surface. A warning. Archive of the last war. Nobody spoke. The implications were horrifying. If this was an archive, what kind of war required a structure this large? Back in the Galactic Assembly, panic continued spreading. Military fleets mobilized. Border defenses activated. Entire sectors prepared for evacuation. Yet nobody dared approach the Perseus Void. Except humanity. Earth's governments unanimously approved a rescue mission. The decision shocked the galaxy. Several assembly members protested immediately. Sending more ships is reckless. It could provoke whatever exists there. Humanity risks all our lives. The human ambassador listened quietly. Then stood. His answer became famous throughout the galaxy. 12 of our people are stranded. The chamber remained silent. The ambassador continued. We're going. A machine delegate interrupted. The probability of survival is negligible. The ambassador nodded. Then we'll bring more ships. But they may not return. We know. The assembly stared. No civilization made decisions like this. Most species prioritized preservation. Risk calculations. Statistical outcomes. Humans seemed to operate differently. The rescue fleet launched 3 days later. Not because success was guaranteed, but because people were waiting. Far inside the void, Odyssey drifted near the awakening machine. Then something unexpected happened. The heartbeat stopped. Every system aboard the ship suddenly stabilized. Power fluctuations vanished. Alarms ceased. The vessel became silent. Too silent. Crew members exchanged nervous looks. Then every screen aboard the ship activated simultaneously. No commands. No input. Just one message. Welcome back. Carter frowned. Back? Nobody understood. Humanity had never been there before. At least, they thought they hadn't. Suddenly, the ship's central computer unlocked a hidden file. One that shouldn't exist. One that had never appeared before. Malik opened it carefully. Inside was a recording. Date stamp. Year 2048. More than 2 centuries before Odyssey was built. The bridge fell silent. Humanity had barely reached its own moon in 2048. How could a file from that era be inside a modern starship? The recording began. A woman appeared on screen. She wore an unfamiliar uniform. Behind her stood stars no one recognized. My name is Commander Evelyn Ward. Her voice was calm. If you're watching this, then the archive has awakened. Carter felt his stomach tighten. The woman continued. You believe humanity entered the galaxy recently? She smiled sadly. That's not true. Every crew member froze. Long before recorded history, humanity was here. The screen filled with ancient images. Massive fleets. Gigantic cities floating between stars. Technologies beyond anything modern humans possessed. An empire stretching across hundreds of galaxies. The crew watched in disbelief. Commander Ward continued speaking. "We were among the first." Sarah whispered. "No." But the evidence continued appearing. Civilizations. Colonies. Megastructures. All unmistakably human. Humanity wasn't young. Humanity was ancient. Then the recording revealed the truth. Millions of years earlier, another species had arrived from outside the known universe. A species unlike anything seen before. They consumed stars. Destroyed realities. Erased entire civilizations. The galaxy called them. The silence. The ancient humans fought them. For centuries. World after world. System after system. Until victory finally came. But the cost was unimaginable. Entire regions of space became uninhabitable. Civilization collapsed. Human survivors scattered. History was lost. And eventually humanity forgot who they had once been. Commander Ward's final words echoed through the bridge. "If the archive awakens, then the silence may be returning." The recording ended. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Because outside the ship, the giant machine began opening. And something inside was trying to come out. The colossal machine continued to open. Sections of metal larger than planets shifted apart with impossible precision. Ancient mechanisms, dormant for millions of years, awakened one after another. Outside the viewing ports of Odyssey, entire stars disappeared behind moving layers of metal. The crew watched in stunned silence. No one had words for what they were seeing. Captain Carter finally broke the silence. "How old is that thing?" Dr. Malik Hassan checked the readings again. His expression turned grim. "The sensors can't determine an exact age." "Estimate." Malik swallowed. "Older than every known civilization combined." A chill spread across the bridge. The machine wasn't merely ancient. It predated history itself. Then a new transmission arrived. Not from Earth. Not from the Galactic Assembly. From the machine. Every screen aboard Odyssey illuminated. A single symbol appeared. Then another. And another. Millions of symbols rapidly rearranged themselves into human language. The message was simple. Identity confirmed. Crew members exchanged nervous looks. Captain Carter stepped closer. Identity confirmed? Another line appeared. Humanity recognized. Then. Last command authority detected. The bridge fell silent. Nobody understood. But before anyone could respond, the machine transmitted a flood of information directly into Odyssey's computer systems. Ancient maps. Military records. Scientific archives. And one terrifying warning. The silence is moving again. Thousands of light years away, the human rescue fleet approached the Perseus Void. 47 ships traveled together. It was the largest purely human expedition in modern history. Many believed it was a suicide mission. The crews understood the risk. Yet not a single ship turned back. Their orders were simple. Bring Odyssey home. Nothing else mattered. Back at the Galactic Assembly, panic intensified. The data recovered from Odyssey had been shared with leading scientists. The conclusions were alarming. Ancient human records matched countless galactic mysteries. The impossible structures scattered throughout space. The abandoned gateways. The megacities hidden inside dying stars. All of them carried traces of human design. For thousands of years, younger civilizations had studied these relics. None had ever suspected their creators still existed. An elderly historian addressed the assembly. His voice trembled. If these records are authentic. He paused. Then humanity wasn't one of the youngest races. The chamber remained silent. They were among the oldest. Meanwhile, inside the opening machine, something unexpected emerged. Not a weapon. Not a fleet. A single vessel. The ship slowly drifted into view. Compared to the gigantic archive, it was tiny. Yet it dwarfed entire modern battleships. Its hull was covered in the same glowing symbols. Its engines emitted no detectable energy. And despite being millions of years old, it appeared brand new. Perfectly preserved. Waiting. A message appeared on Odyssey's screens. Vessel designation, Valiant. Status, ready for deployment. Captain Carter frowned. Deployment? Then the next line appeared. Property of humanity. The bridge erupted with disbelief. Sarah Kim stared at the screen. That's impossible. But the machine disagreed. Authorization transfer accepted. Welcome home. Before anyone could react, the stars outside suddenly changed. Malik rushed to the sensors. His face turned white. Captain. What is it? We've got contacts. How many? The scientist looked up. Fear filled his eyes. Thousands. The main display activated. Everyone froze. Far beyond the archive, space itself appeared to tear apart. Black fractures spread through the void. Reality bent and twisted. Then enormous shadows emerged. One after another. Massive objects entered the galaxy. Objects larger than moons. Larger than planets. The silence had arrived. The crew watched as sensor readings climbed beyond measurable limits. One alien object consumed the light around it. Another distorted gravity itself. A third appeared only as an absence in reality. The ancient enemy wasn't a fleet. It was an invasion. At that exact moment, another message appeared. This time throughout the entire galaxy. Every communication system. Every screen. Every network. The source was the archive. Its message reached trillions. The words were translated automatically into every known language. Attention galactic civilizations. Billions stopped what they were doing. Entire worlds watched. The message continued. The final war has resumed. Fear spread instantly. Then came the next line. The line that changed everything. Humanity has returned to active service. Across Earth, people stared at their screens in shock. Farmers. Teachers. Engineers. Students. Ordinary people. None of them knew what the message meant. But somehow, many felt something awaken deep inside them. A strange familiarity. An instinct older than memory. Older than civilization. Older than recorded history. Back aboard Odyssey, the ancient ship Valiant powered up. Golden light spread across its hull. Millions of dormant systems activated simultaneously. The vessel recognized its owners. Humanity. Not the weak, forgotten species the galaxy thought it knew. But the descendants of warriors who had once defended existence itself. Captain Carter stared at the magnificent ship. Then another message appeared. One intended only for him. Commander Carter. The silence remembers humanity. He swallowed hard. And the response appeared instantly. They are afraid of you. Outside, the first enemy vessels advanced toward the galaxy. Inside the archive, ancient weapons began awakening. And for the first time in millions of years, humanity remembered what it had once been. The words lingered on the bridge of Odyssey. They are afraid of you. Captain James Carter stared at the message. Outside, thousands of vessels belonging to the Silence advanced toward the galaxy. Behind him, the ancient ship Valiant glowed with increasing intensity as systems dormant for millions of years awakened. Humanity's forgotten legacy was no longer sleeping. It was preparing for war. Across the galaxy, panic erupted. Entire worlds began evacuation procedures. Military alliances mobilized every available fleet. Yet deep down, everyone understood the truth. Nothing in modern history possessed the power to stop an enemy that had once defeated civilizations older than stars. The Silence was returning. And the galaxy was not ready. Then Earth transmitted a message. Not to the assembly. Not to the fleets. To every human settlement. Every colony. Every ship. Every station. The message was simple. If humanity once stood against the darkness, then we stand again. Within hours, volunteers flooded recruitment centers. Civilian pilots offered their ships. Engineers worked without rest. Scientists shared every discovery. Nobody was forced. Nobody was ordered. Humanity simply chose. The galaxy watched in amazement. Because while other species prepared to survive, humans prepared to fight. Aboard the Valiant, Captain Carter and his crew entered the ancient vessel. The interior looked impossibly advanced. Walls of living metal shifted as they walked. Displays appeared before them without touch. The ship seemed alive. Waiting. Remembering. At the center of the command chamber stood a circular platform. As Carter approached, a holographic figure appeared. Commander Evelyn Ward. The same woman from the recording. Or rather, an artificial intelligence based on her. She smiled. Welcome back. Carter shook his head. We're not the people who built this. The AI nodded. No. Her gaze softened. But you are their descendants. The AI revealed humanity's final secret. Millions of years ago, when victory over the Silence became possible, ancient humanity had realized something terrifying. The enemy could never be completely destroyed. Only contained. So humanity created the archive. A vault containing knowledge, weapons, and ships. Then they erased their own history. They scattered across the stars and began again. Their descendants would live free of endless war. Unless the Silence ever returned. Only then would the archive awaken. Only then would humanity remember. An alarm suddenly echoed through the ship. Enemy forces had entered the system. The invasion had begun. Thousands of Silence vessels advanced toward the archive. Reality distorted around them. Stars dimmed. Space itself screamed under their presence. The Galactic assembly fleets prepared for destruction. Then something impossible happened. The archive activated. Across millions of kilometers, ancient structures illuminated. Weapons larger than planets emerged from hidden chambers. Defense platforms powered online. Dormant fleets awakened. One by one. Hundreds. Thousands. Then millions. Ships built by humanity's forgotten civilization filled the darkness. The galaxy watched in disbelief. An entire armada had been waiting for millions of years. Waiting for humanity. The first battle began. Silence vessels fired beams capable of erasing moons. Ancient human defenses answered. Stars seemed to explode between the opposing fleets. Entire regions of space became oceans of light. The battle was visible from neighboring galaxies. And still the Silence advanced. Captain Carter took command of the Valiant. The ship accelerated forward. Not through normal space. Not through hyperspace. but through dimensions modern science didn't even understand. Within seconds, the Valiant appeared directly inside the enemy formation. Weapons fired. Entire enemy vessels vanished. Not destroyed. Erased. As though they had never existed. The ancient ship was unlike anything the galaxy had ever imagined. Yet even it couldn't stop all of them. The silence continued coming. Wave after wave. Endless. Then the enemy leader arrived. A colossal entity emerged from a fracture in reality. Larger than planets. Older than civilizations. The source of countless extinctions. The being that had nearly ended existence itself. Every sensor failed trying to measure it. Every fleet lost hope. Except one. Humanity's. The AI of Evelyn Ward looked toward Carter. There is one final weapon. He already knew what she meant. The archive. She nodded. If activated fully, it will seal the silence beyond reality forever. And the cost? The AI remained silent. Carter understood. The archive would be destroyed. The ancient fleets. The ancient technology. All of it. Gone forever. Humanity would lose its forgotten inheritance. For a moment, he thought about the power. The knowledge. The greatness humanity could reclaim. Then he smiled. Because he finally understood something about his species. Humanity's strength was never the technology. Never the ships. Never the weapons. It was the willingness to sacrifice everything for people they would never meet. The same reason the rescue fleet had come for 12 stranded explorers. The same reason ordinary citizens volunteered to fight. The same reason humanity had won long ago. Captain Carter gave the order. Activate the archive. The ancient machine responded instantly. Light spread across the galaxy. Every star seemed to shine brighter. The colossal archive transformed into pure energy. A barrier formed around the silence. Reality closed. The fractures disappeared. One by one, enemy vessels vanished beyond existence. Their leader roared as space itself sealed around it. Then silence returned. True silence. Peaceful silence. The war was over. Hours later, the surviving fleets gathered. The archive was gone. The ancient armada was gone. The Valiant was gone. Only fragments remained. The inheritance of a forgotten age had fulfilled its purpose. For the final time. The Galactic Assembly later built a monument near the Perseus Void. Inscribed upon it were simple words. When darkness returned, humanity stood between the galaxy and extinction. No titles. No boasts. No claims of superiority. Just the truth. Years later, children across hundreds of worlds learned about the final war. They learned how the youngest-looking species had once been the oldest. How humanity had sacrificed unimaginable power to protect strangers. And how, when the galaxy needed heroes most, humans answered. Again. And again. And again. Because the greatest weapon humanity ever possessed was never hidden inside the archive. It was the human heart.